You gotta make content. That's all that is important anymore.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's a little.
What are you doing?
That's a little on the nose.
Come on, man.
Oh.
In order for me to plead insanity, I need to kill all 6 and then kind of cut myself up a little bit.
If you have any recommendations for nice jeans that don't rip down the center. My name is Grant, and I'm probably going to talk at this level. This is a good level to be talking.
This is a good level. This is a good level. I'll probably be talking around here. Probably.
Okay.
I'll probably be talking around here. Probably. It's a little quiet. I'll probably be talking around here. Probably.
And I'll be talking about here.
Apparently, I don't watch the news.
And apparently, that kid saying he got molested. And apparently.
And apparently I didn't want that.
And apparently he was going to do it anyway.
Apparently he didn't care about what I wanted.
And apparently there is no God because it happened in his house.
Apparently that's illegal. But no one believes me, apparently.
And apparently he's not a very nice
Because
priest.
he's a priest, so he can never do something bad.
Damn, what a tragic video that would have been.
Yeah.
You see the hole in my pants? Hey, any of our feet people, hello, by the way. Let's get a like and subscribe for the Tootsies, by the way.
Like and subscribe. Also, there's other content here.
There's other content here.
But
Stick
we know,
around for it.
We don't hate you for it. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. For some reason, I think you guys would know this to answer this question. But if you have any recommendations for nice jeans that don't rip down the center.
Yo, I need that too.
I keep having rips, and I don't know
All the
why,
time.
but for some reason, I associate you with the entire lower body. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't come to you guys for shirts.
not at all.
Doesn't make sense.
But for some reason, jeans they can handle.
Jeans, yeah, and obviously socks.
Obviously, socks.
Smart wool.
Yeah, if you got recommendations on stuff, well, smart wool is so expensive. You know what?
I
The
bet they
best
like the
are
toe
those
socks.
darn. No way.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
But the darn
we just
tough-
insulted all of them. Oh yeah.
Darn toughs, but they're so expensive. But lifetime warranty.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, I need jeans that don't tear in the middle too. I that's all of my jeans for the past 10 years. Just
They last.
right
They
down.
last max 9 months.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
9 months, and then they start. I
Absolutely.
think it's because my penis is so sharp.
That's interesting because mine's dull.
Yeah, well, you haven't
Mine's
sharpened it in a
rounded
while.
At the end. Yeah, I got to sharpen.
You got to sharpen it.
Yeah, well.
No, don't.
No, don't sharpen.
Bad for you for some reason.
Sharpen bad.
Well, welcome to another episode of
Call Him Father.
Let's see. I mean, last week we talked about some really, really interesting stuff.
I got to say, man, you were worried about those clips and they're doing fine.
They're doing fine. Yeah, keep them short. If they're bad, keep them short. That's if you learn anything from us, you gotta make content. That's all that is important anymore, is making content.
Doesn't even have to be good.
But it can't always be good, right? Most of the time it's
Who's
going to
good
be
all the time?
bad. But
Who's
what's
good all the
important is putting it out so that people can waste their lives watching it and you can waste your life making it. And what you can do to maybe not feel complete and utter soul death in both making it and putting it out is if it's bad and you know it's bad, make it short.
Yeah, because if I watch a long thing and at the end I'm like, that was a big piece of poo, I'm going to feel bad. But
Yeah,
if it was
dude.
just a 10-second piece of poo, I'm like, oh, well, that's whatever.
Yeah.
I'll even rewatch it.
Would you rather eat a whole turd or a bunch of little tiny like pellet-sized
deer
turds?
pellets.
Yeah.
I do think a deer pellet would have some nutritional value to it, whereas a human log...
It'd be mostly grass.
nothing.
No, I think there'd be more nutrients in human log. There's just the problem is there's also more waste to get you sick.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, because deer they only eat fucking grass.
Yeah, that feels very
And
healthy
some corn.
to me. That feels very healthy to me.
I don't think there's a lot of nutrients for us in grass.
But deer are doing great. If I had the physique
They're
of a
not
deer,
doing great.
What are you talking about?
They're so stupid.
Haven't you seen them running around? Yeah, and yet physically they're doing all right.
I guess
If I had the physique of a deer, I'd be living a different life.
you would look so weird.
I'd look awesome.
Your head, but on a deer. You'd be dragging that thing along the ground.
My head.
No, they have strong necks.
They do have strong
Yeah.
necks. Mustache on a deer would be.
Anyway, let's see. You want to rate yourself?
Sure, I'll rate myself.
Do you guys like this? We don't get any feedback because usually people, I mean, we're 4 minutes in. People don't usually make it this far.
Yeah.
So if you are watching, do you give a shit about
The rating?
our rating system?
I really think it's just a good place for us to jump off into conversation is the thing.
Okay.
I think it's a good, we've said this before.
Well,
I think it's
then
a good
let's
starting
jump.
point. Let's jump. Jump. Might as well jump. That's what I was thinking of.
What's that?
It's a song.
By the Beatles?
Might as well jump. Jump. Dun, 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 dun,
Who's it? I have never heard it before.
Dun, 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 dun. I couldn't keep the same octave. I had to drop. Might as well jump.
Dude, I mean, you can keep repeating it, but it's not going to help at all.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, well, I was a 7 until that experience just now, and now I've dropped down to a 3. Yeah, you can turn that on. It's good.
No, keep going. I'm listening.
I'd probably say like a 6 spiritual. I think this week has been a lot better, and I think just trying to be present. Also, I've realized this: when I fall asleep listening to something, it helps me with the initial fall asleep, but then I'll wake up and I do the 15-minute fall asleep thing on my screen. So the TV will automatically turn off in 15 minutes.
Oh, you're the only person I've never met who actually does that.
Oh, I do it. It's awesome. But then I'll wake up before the 15 minutes is up and they're still talking, and it'll feel like it's been 3 hours just because, you know, how you have those quick fall asleep, wake up, and I'm like, I feel like I've been asleep for hours, but they're still talking.
You're
And it
saying you
gives me
get
this-
more rested?
No, it's worse. It's way worse.
Oh, okay.
I wake up with terrible cognitive dissonance, and it like scares me.
Oh.
And so, and
Oh, you
it's-
wake up confused.
yeah, and it feels spiritual too. It's like a weird confusion, like a fear in me when that happens. And I'm like, I feel more spiritually awake when I fall asleep in silence.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably just because you're not fully, your brain probably isn't fully going to sleep if there's a lot of sound going on.
That's
It's
probably
maintaining
true.
some level of awareness.
As a kid, I was always falling asleep with tapes or falling asleep listening to something.
Yeah, but
Because
you're,
I was to have my brain focused on something so it wouldn't go crazy with the thoughts that I had.
I do that. I still do that when I can't sleep. I'll listen to this guy Alan Watts, but
Oh, sure, he's great.
yeah, I like him a lot, and he's got a great British voice
Yeah,
to where he doesn't even really matter what he's saying. You're just kind of like, he's right.
yeah.
Yeah, he's right, and he's
got one of
calm, and he's right.
One of those relaxing British voices is, I just listen to me and you'll fall asleep.
You gotta fucking follow Zen and Buddha.
Yeah, you gotta sit and be in the moment.
If you don't, you're a puffer.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, it's so nice.
Wow, really drifting off into sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you bring that up? Because you felt like it gave you a spiritual deficit?
And yeah, kind of. It helped me realize that like being silent and being present in that silence is really helpful to hear, I think, the comforting voice of God instead of just, I don't know, man, just trying to not make myself be comfortable, if that makes sense. Like trying not to appease myself with like, oh, noise or distractions or whatever, but like trusting that the Lord will comfort me in silence, just being present. I think leaning into that is really helpful for me.
Oh, so you're saying that your need for constant stimulation is a lack of faith?
Maybe yeah, I think a lack of faith in his, if he'll come and comfort me, frankly. So it's kind of like, okay, I need to lean on the Lord here in a moment and not try to, not stimulate, but try and appease myself. That's not the right word. Satiate myself or
Comfort?
something. Yeah, maybe. Or like
Run away from?
Run away from. I mean, there's a lot of
Avoid
words, I guess.
yourself?
Yeah.
Avoid what the gifts of silence he has bestowed upon you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be
crazy
quiet.
loud city.
You're
Yeah.
supposed to be quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
It's so hard, though, because you have a constant calming unquiet box with you.
Yeah, I
Your
know.
constant phone.
I'm also like, man, I could play poker on my phone right now.
Play poker on your phone. You could look at sexy videos on your phone. There's so
No.
much stuff you could. You
Yeah,
could.
you could. I could. You're right.
You have the one phone that doesn't look at porn.
What is it? How do you even
Why-
spell
why-
that? I don't even know what that
God,
means.
this is my phone's blocked it naturally.
It's crazy.
Honestly, that would be so great if they came out with a phone that just like it can't even go on porn.
Yeah, that would be great.
It doesn't even show you Instagram reels of thick pogs.
I mean, you know what those are? It's just flip phones.
Dude, you can still flip phones nowadays have like touchscreens and you can get on Chrome.
No, right. But I'm talking about like the old school Razor T9.
Oh, dude,
You
I
know?
snapped a few of those.
Of course.
I was
Remember the
pissed.
chocolates? Remember the sideways that flipped up?
Oh, the
Oh,
sidekicks
man.
were sick.
Sidekicks?
I would love
was
to
that
get a
Remember the
sidekick.
juke that flipped like like up like that.
Was
like
it thin? Really
yeah,
thin?
very thin, and you hit the side of it, and it flipped up.
Yeah.
So cool.
That
My
was-
friend Jack Selleck had that. I still remember his phone number from middle school.
Yeah.
Because I used to dial it all the time.
Form over function, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that.
It was freaking cool, man. His phone was cool.
Okay, so you're at what, a
It says
six?
6 spiritually. Yeah, I need to lean into that silence and be a little more present. And I
Dude,
think
start
that-
meditating a little bit.
I do. Well, I don't call it. Yeah, functionally it's the same thing as meditation, but that's what I call prayer.
But no, prayer, you're putting stuff out. It's a conversation versus just a podcast. You know, one you're talking with, the other one you're just listening.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think that is the meditative aspect of prayer is something I definitely need to do more.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Listening in that silence. It's also so scary because you don't listen because you're scared he's not going to talk back to you. You know?
Yeah, he's not. You just,
Yeah, he is. That's
he's just going to sit there
that's the belief.
and just be quiet.
Right. I think God speaks to you in those moments.
Unless God's voice is like,
Well, that's the thing. Speak to, I think you're taking it a very literal, like, Grant.
yeah, I know.
Hello, I'm God. Hello, it's God.
That's what, that would be nice.
Yeah, well, sure, it would be nice. But also,
He
I
can
think
do
he's-
everything. He can't do vowels and consonants.
No, he can. He just chooses not to. For our own faith.
He just chooses to do high-pitched tinnitus.
Okay, God.
God is a gnat.
Sounding kind of whiny right now.
Okay, let's tone around. All right, am I going to have to turn on a fan?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
and
what
then
about
let
you?
me guess.
I didn't even mention the religion because it's 8.
Is it an 8?
Still an 8.
Oh, it's still an 8. Who would have thought? Pretty low. Pretty
Yeah, I can
low.
tell you're shooting attitude at God already in terms of God's voice. You're giving him guff.
No, it's just I know he's not going to talk back the way
You'd like him to.
that one would think talking would go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. Yeah, probably. I've just been busy with not thinking about it. So I would say spiritually 2.
Whoa, 2.
I think it was 2-2 again.
That's all-time
It's just-
low, baby.
it's just-
ATL.
I think I was 2-2 last time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Just not even thinking about it, really.
Right.
Even though still trying to do some prayer and meditation in the morning, there's not like the feeling of God, if that
Right.
makes sense. There's the practice of like, I do this stuff and, typically it's a good way to start the day. But there's not like the feeling that there's like maybe some other powerful thing on the other side of it.
Yeah. How's that affected your? Has that been like a net neutral in your life, or does that change your experience of life? Or
Yeah, I think it's just been fine. There hasn't been like super deep moments, and in terms of like where that is. There's been deep moments of connection, but there has been no afterthought or like kind of conscious thought during that. Like this is some larger thing than just this moment.
yeah, for you, do you think that feeling precedes belief, or does belief precede feeling?
I think it can work either way. If you make the decision to take a leap of faith, then feelings can follow if you really commit to it.
Right.
And then you can have things that go the other way, where something extraordinary happens or something bland happens, but it feels extraordinary. And then you can decide to go, or you can connect that to like what you call a God.
Right. Yeah.
But I think you're better off in terms of consistency, like making that choice. And that's where, like we've talked about this before, but that's where the practice comes in, so that you can, you, whether it's you or whether it's the actual thing, there's a constant conscious connection being made.
Conscious connection.
I know, dude. I'm really trying here. There's a constant conscious connection being made between A and G, or B and G.
G is God.
G is God.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you know Jews can't spell God? They have to do G-D.
Yeah, or Yahweh. They don't spell out Yahweh.
I had no idea. I did an audition for this play that I didn't get. Thanks.
Man, yeah. Good thing you didn't get it. You would have been gay.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been crazy. You got it.
He really does
Grant's
hate
gay
them.
now. In a play.
But the writers were Jewish, and they said God in the script. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm sure they like that reaction.
Well, I'd never known about it before.
Yeah,
it wasn't
sure.
like Jews. It was like, why are they, you know what I thought is I thought their keyboard was broken. They didn't have an O.
Hilarious. Yeah.
So like
Yeah, they don't spell it
T
out.
dash dash.
Yeah. What does that mean?
But yeah, so it just hasn't been at the forefront of my mind. I've been kind of busy thinking about other things, and there hasn't been this connection making, or even like the thought occurring of the connection to make.
Yeah.
There's been no denial. There just hasn't been effort or occurrence that would push me towards a higher number.
Yeah. What's that?
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
That's crazy.
I know. I'm trying to do more burp and fart and sneeze karate. Where like when I have a sneeze, I start doing karate moves, and it's really fun to do with farts and burps and stuff.
What's a fart karate move? Like a leg thing?
Like you lift your leg up and kick right as you hit the fart.
Oh, okay.
It's really fun.
That's pretty fun. Yeah, I guess that the belief thing, it is nice to, when you are doing the practice of it, are you like, this probably isn't thing, or are you like saying, no, let me try to believe that there is something behind this?
I think when like when I'm doing the prayer stuff, because I'm doing like the same prayers over and over again often, it's just reached the point where it feels more mechanical than actually like purposeful.
That's very interesting. Yeah, that's my dad grew up Catholic, and my mom grew up in a very not Catholic household. And so they come down pretty hard on a lot of like high liturgy stuff that is just repetitious.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, because then it just becomes rote. You just start doing it and you're not thinking about it. You're not feeling it, you know? So there are a lot of great prayers that are worth repeating. A lot good things to remind yourself of. But then also praying with a presence of mind, I think, is even more powerful than just...
Yeah, there has to be the intention that this is like... The intention that this is like a...
real thing.
A real purposeful thing. Someone was telling me... another comic was telling me about like transcendental meditation. Like an aspect of it is
Seinfeld loves that.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay, that's what he said. And you just sit and you say the same phrase over and over again for like however long you're sitting there, 15, 20 minutes. And it's like I don't know how the phrase is decided, but like I think like there's like a Sigmund Freud quote about how words were essentially magic, and they still are, because you can speak things into creation. It's like the first step in putting making the external world reflect your internal like
in the beginning
thoughts and desires. Yeah, there you go. And I can see where that has power, but if you still have to have this kind of upkept belief and intention behind it, or it really literally is just words.
Yeah, you have to, meaningful words.
Yeah.
If you're just doing stuff. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she was talking about her sister, who's like, they're come from a very conservative Christian background. And her sister went to a yoga class and left the yoga class feeling like, I don't know if I should have done that, if I should have done yoga. So she asked
what?
My friend's sister asked her.
Oh, because it's like betrayal of God?
Well, she was like, I don't know. Was I like inviting spirits or demons in? And I'm like, what are you, stupid?
Yeah.
Of course you're not. Like that, don't you think you need to have a degree of asking for demons to come in? You think you're doing downward dog and then Satan's like, get her. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but like
you need a degree of intent, I think, in order to make a thing like that happen. Like, that seems crazy to me. And same thing with transcendental meditation. I think you need to be saying words with intent. I don't think it's just like this thing that you do mechanically and then just a thing occurs.
I agree with the second part, but with the spirits and the ghost part, no one consents to the ghosts coming in. The ghosts just come in because they're scary, spooky, angry ghosts.
Yeah, I think you're talking about different ghosts than what she's talking about. But because she's
inviting in bad spirits.
No, she's not.
That's what she was worried about.
Right, by doing yoga.
Yeah, but that's what I understand why someone who's like believes in this stuff could believe that. Like,
I don't.
It's kind of
as
like,
someone who believes this, I don't understand that at all.
I understand why you don't, but I'm saying I could see why. Like, I could see why someone who believes in any type of really believes in like a spiritual realm or like it's not spiritual. What's the other thing? Paranormal. Anything paranormal.
Yeah.
it's not a huge leap to think there are other ways of conjuring paranormal activity,
Right,
like yoga, which is a spiritual thing.
Right, but I
She
do think this
decided
idea
to
of-
do yoga.
Right, but that's not conjuring evil spirits.
She doesn't know that. She hasn't read all the yoga stuff.
See, I think to me that just shows like an immense lack of understanding and a lack of faith. Like if a serious Christian person were to say
Sure.
that to me, I'd be like, "Oh, you haven't read this, have you?
Yeah.
You have very little idea of what this talks about. Like, have you heard of Jesus? Like, and I'm being demeaning because I'm upset, but I like.
Oh, then that's okay.
If she, yeah. And here's why I'm being rude. And it'll make sense.
I'm being emotional.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm upset, so I'm being rude. Like, if someone came to me like that, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I would like, "Why do you think that?" She's like, "Well, I don't know." Like, it's a very much like, "Oh, I'm stressed," and then something's happening to me against my will. Like, do you feel?
But
like,
it's kind
I
of
don't
similar,
understand.
like what happens with the what we'll talk about today with the golden calf. Though, is like these people believe in a paranormal world,
Absolutely,
right?
for sure.
And so when the kind of grounding evidence that they have of Moses, or like in the person, the idol that they have of Moses going away for 40 days and then not knowing where he is, they immediately revert back to their kind of pagan ways.
Sure.
That's what's happening. Is she's basically like, she believes in this paranormal world. There's aspects of it, and the core of that belief can allow, or like the idea of that belief could allow for like spirits. Do you see what I'm saying?
Because the idea is devils exist.
Yes.
Right? So they could get in. And I guess what
they could be in yoga.
What bothers me about a perspective is it's like, oh, if I do this action, regardless of my heart's desire and intent, this could happen to me.
What if you get
makes
tricked?
Which makes it very much actions based. So it's like, in order for the Lord to be with me and for me not to get possessed, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z in order to ensure that I stay within the Lord's will, or in order to ensure. And it's like, okay, I think that's a very actions based gospel, which I really disagree with. It's like, oh, I can't, if I do, whatever stretch in yoga, I will be possessed by the devil against my will. And it's like, what?
That is a good stretch though.
Why? Yeah. Oh, you're getting flexible.
Yeah.
It breaks your back.
Yeah. When you,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well,
Wow,
name a more
okay.
flexible person
Okay,
than
pro.
someone who needs to be
Is
exercised.
this your first class? Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
Wow, 360 degree head turn.
That's
wow.
crazy.
You typically need to be doing this for at least 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it just bothers me because it's like, what if it's like, you think that the devil's just like, oh, their body's in the right position, we can get in that. Like, it's such a heart thing. It's not a against your will. Like, anytime someone gets possessed by the devil or whatever, it is like a heart. It is tied to heart or sin or something like that. It's not tied to this, like, what if I bend down to pick up my pen in a weird way and I strike a yoga pose and then the devil gets me? Like, that's crazy.
But do you think, so the only sins you can commit are the ones you're aware of?
I don't know. I mean, obviously bad things happen against our will. Right?
Oh, yeah, they do.
But I think, like, would those be counted against us as sin because maybe you weren't being mindful or whatever? Like, I don't know. That's a hard question to ask. Like, if you're being willfully ignorant, that's one thing maybe. But if you're also being like, oh, I genuinely didn't know that would have that effect on you.
Right.
Then I don't know if that's
Because
something to
yoga
hold
does
against you.
come from a religion. Like, it's a practice that comes from
Spirituality. Sure.
but it's tied to it comes from Hinduism, right? It's a religion. It's an aspect of
I think
Hinduism.
it can be used as a religion, but also I think it could be very much divorced from
Sure.
the root of its
And so
spirituality.
that could be a way where you, unaware to yourself, do this practice and open up the door to the devil.
Yeah, I guess then it's funny because I'm so used to people being like, "Oh, Christianity's stupid" or whatever, and that's when I'm like, "What are you, dumb? Like, that's insane. That's crazy." That feels like an intentful thing.
Yeah.
Opening a doorway to a negative supernatural thing. I don't think you just accidentally do. Like, I think that's something you need to invite upon yourself. You know what I mean?
By taking a yoga class.
No, with your heart, not by
You need
just
to decide,
moving your
I'm going to
body.
do this evil thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's like.
I guess I don't know a lot about exerciseology or whatever it's called, but in the movie The Exorcist, she just gets possessed, or there's a.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Are you allowed to see it?
Allowed?
Could that be you opening up?
My parents haven't let me see Exorcist yet.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
I don't know if you're allowed. If it's like an anti-religious thing, like by watching The Exorcist.
Anti-religious? I don't, yeah. No, I don't think it'd be anti-religious. I think it'd be fun to watch that. Also, even if it was anti-religious, it doesn't mean I can't consume it.
Because when it came out, it was a big deal. People were really offended by the idea of having this like anti-God imagery. I think, she's like sticking a fucking cross up her pussy or something.
Yeah, it's rude. For sure.
To her pussy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it probably hurts.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the devil inside of it maiming herself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that is a depiction of things that is that based on a true story? I forget.
No.
No,
I know. I have no idea. I think
there are Exorcist movies that are based on like true stories.
I feel like the most common true story based on a true story one is that house where that guy killed his family.
What's that one? I feel like there's too many houses where guys have killed their family.
I know, but this is like there's been 1,000 remakes of this movie.
Scream.
Friday Night at Freddy's or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a horror movie guy. But The Exorcist does seem. I heard that The Exorcism of Emily Rose is like very accurate to what exorcisms have looked like. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that people don't really look to.
Amityville Horror.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
It's based on a book, which is based on a family. Oh, wait, is it not even a true story? Oh, yeah, based on real life experiences of the Lutz family who moved into a house after this guy murdered his 6 family members and then the house was haunted, blah, blah, blah.
Did he murder the house and then leave, or did he get away with it?
I think he killed himself.
Oh, I get that. After killing 6 of your family members, I mean...
Do you think he killed like 4 and was like, I don't think I want to keep doing this, but I gotta...
Yeah, you feel like you can't just kill 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6. I feel like you could stop at 3, but once you go 4, you gotta be like, well, I might as well get all of them. Because you're gonna think, well, those other 2 are not gonna be happy with me.
Oh, no, he just got arrested.
Well, that's good. I think he should have gotten arrested.
Justice.
That's his name?
Yeah. They tried an insanity plea, and then the jury was like,
Low-key,
fuck that.
Low key.
How do you ever
go insanity plea?
How do you ever not win insanity plea? Because anytime you're killing that many people, it's like, yeah, that seems insane.
I feel like if he did kill 3 and kept 3 alive, not insane. You gotta kill all 6 to go insanity.
Yeah, he was thinking of his legal defense.
Yeah,
when
he's like,
murdering.
guys, you understand.
I mean, they'd be like, wow, that sounds really logical.
Yeah. I mean, you don't tell the defense that, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Because
very
then,
open and honest murderer.
Right.
That would be insane. Is if a murderer was like, cool, calm, and collected, like, nope, I really wanted to do all that, and I liked how it made me feel.
There was a guy I ran across. Dude, my Instagram has been getting darker recently. It's because I'm watching darker stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how this algorithm works. It's because I keep watching and liking stuff. And it was a guy being like, hey, have you, a cop talking to this kid who's like 19 or whatever, is like, hey, have you heard about this missing person? And then the kid's like, yes. And then he's like, if I were to search your room, what would I find? He goes, a head and hands. And the kid was just like, yeah, I killed it. And he's like, why would you do that? And he's like, I wanted to feel what it would be like to kill somebody. Like, just super honest about the whole thing.
Oh, is this one of those like interview room things?
He wasn't in an interview room. They were just arresting him in that moment.
Damn.
They hadn't even arrested him. They were just asking. And they just admitted to doing the whole thing because he's like, I wanted to see what it felt like. And you're like, oh.
And the cop was like, what did it feel like?
Okay, well, you're under arrest, I guess.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things where you're like, this is pretty easy, I guess.
Ugh.
I don't know. But yeah, people want to know.
Dude, yeah, Instagram is really upping. Noah Snyder showed me this page. It's just people getting hit by cars. And it's so brutal. But it sucks because, like, it's so shocking that it makes me laugh. It's just they
just bounce off.
Their bodies do crazy things.
Yeah.
But so that Instagram doesn't take down every single video, in the text they have to be like, they're fine, by the way. They're not fine.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like you just see a guy get exploded.
Turned into mist by a semi-truck.
Like a watermelon got hit by a bat. And then in like bright green letters on the bottom. It's like, he survived.
That's so funny, dude.
That's
They're like,
no.
oh, good. How crazy is that also that people are like, we gotta put this people dying content on. So here's a loophole. We'll say that they're fine. I mean, it's just the desperation. It's like, hey, maybe don't post that online.
Dude, I was smoking weed one time with a guy. And
Come on. What the?
Yeah, no, I used to
Man,
be
you're
I used to
cool.
be chill before I went with JC, but we were, me and this guy and then my other friend were like sitting around smoking weed and like we're playing internet videos. Like that's how you used to hang out.
Of course, yeah.
And
Minus the weed.
we put someone put on like Reddit 50/50, which is like, okay, it's either a cute cat
Oh, yeah, I've heard
or
of
a
that.
guy putting a blender in his asshole.
Yeah.
And we clicked on one and it was just a guy fully getting murdered. I don't know in what way.
Jeez.
And me and my friend were like, turn it off. And the other guy, and he's high when he's saying this, was like, is it weird? It kind of calms me down. And we're like, oh yeah, it's like the scariest thing we've ever heard.
Yeah, it's actually really unsettling. That you said
Yeah,
that.
I like don't want to ever hang out with you ever again.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. He chilled out though.
What does that mean? What is that? That just, to me, that implies that he just watched a ton more of that content and then killed somebody.
He's way more chill now, I swear.
Yeah, because he's killing people on the side.
No. I hope not.
Yeah, you're like, this calms me down. Oh, don't worry. He's super calm now.
Yeah, when he said that, me and my buddy looked at each other like, whoa.
Did you guys play Slenderman?
Slenderman. The video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, so fun. I remember one time I played Slenderman with my friend, and this is at the point where I was old enough to drive. And I drove home a longer direction that was more well lit.
Yeah, dude.
Because I was driving, there's a long portion of street that was really dark.
Okay,
and
but
I was like, I don't want to do that.
That is, yoga's going to open me up to the devil.
I think
It's
in a
a
different
lighter
sense.
version of getting spooked.
I
She
see
just
what you're
got
saying.
spooked in a more retarded way.
Yes, I'm open to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way of putting it. That helps me understand it better.
Yeah.
because it is like, yes, Slenderman, just the jump scare thing. I hate the jump.
Because you were like, you played a video game on a computer and you were like, there's a real big man out there.
right, but I had an experience of fear when doing that. I wasn't being chill and
Dude,
stretched.
when you're stretching and you stretch a little too far and you're like, am I going to rip? That's scary.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Is the devil in my hamstrings?
He could be. Dude, I got the devil in my hamstrings.
Title? Devil in my hamstrings?
I wanted to do the golden crab.
No, golden crab's better. Speaking of golden crab,
Let's get into it.
let's get into it.
Did you guys like that fucking shit?
You like that? You like that content
You
creation?
didn't make it this far, but if you did, hey, remember to like, share, subscribe, love
Each
kiss, love each other. Seriously, do be kind.
Yeah.
And make it to the end of the episode because we're getting into the Bible stuff now.
That's right.
Where did we stop at last time? I think we stopped at the right before the incense altar, which would put us at chapter 29. 29 of Exodus, the consecration of the priests. Josh, so much to go through here.
Yeah.
Fill me in.
So this is where they consecrate the priests.
And anyway, the next chapter is...
Hey, here we go, chapter 30.
I mean-
all the priests are of Levi. They're the Levites, so one people of God that were set aside.
Levites were also the killers, right? Like the warriors, too. The sons of Levi were the ones who killed all those people after the... or no, that was just Levi.
That was just Levi.
Oh, that was
the
just
one who killed
Levi
all
and
the
the other
people.
brother.
Yeah. Levi and Reuben? No, not Reuben.
Ruth.
No, not Ruth.
Levi and Ruth.
That's a girl name.
Oh, okay.
Ruth's a girl name. Should we do voices? Do people like voices? Ruth's a girl name.
I can only do certain voices that I don't want recorded. Okay, here's the one thing is that you mentioned this last time. The priests, they're just butchering animals all day.
Yeah, just killing animals. They
And
were
I-
like the butchers back then.
They were the butchers, and I was thinking, we talked about how much it must have stunk.
Stunk.
Yeah, because it's just burning hair and organs, and you're throwing blood all over the place.
Yeah, cool.
And so, holy of holy, more like the stinky of stinkies. But
Stinky of stinkies. But they have.
But it makes sense why after you talk about all this burning and sacrificing of creatures, you go to the next chapter, which is the altar of incense. De-stinkifying the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're thinking it's a very sensory, captivating thing, the tabernacle. I mean, you've got
sensory
gold, you've got
overload.
blue, you've got smells, you've got blood, you've got all of these things that it's just like you've got taste because of what you're eating. I mean, there's just so much going on. It's really captivating your whole self. And the incense is there to wipe away, olfactorily speaking.
Yeah, but it's just going to smell like when you Febreze a nasty shit. Like it just smells like blood over.
You really got to lean into the Febreze portion and don't.
Is there any? I've never had any time when like there was a stinky thing and then I sprayed a new thing and it didn't just smell like the stinky thing and the new thing.
Maybe my nose isn't sensitive enough, but I feel like Febreze does a pretty good job.
Okay.
Febreze.
And also,
Who thought of that jingle?
Incense are a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of lazy.
Febreze. It sounds like your computer's turning off.
It's just you're basically just doing the syllables.
Yeah. Febreze. Hold on, let me workshop it. Febreze. Febreze.
Oh no, I like that one.
The first one?
The middle one.
Febreze.
Yeah, that's better. Anyway, so they kill a bunch of animals. They make it really stinky. You do not want to be a goat or a calf. Or here's the things you don't want to be in ancient Hebrew times. You don't want to be a fucking sheep. You don't want to be
bull,
a male cow, and you don't want to be a female woman. Those three things, right. You do not want to be those things.
And you'll be sacrificed as a female woman. You're not getting sacrificed, but...
That is one thing is like, you got to think people are also doing human sacrifices on this time, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of human
sacrifice. So this is a big upgrade.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid to us to kill a bunch of animals for God, but back then, this is a pretty big upgrade that they're like, not just throwing virgins into a fire.
Yeah, virgins or babies or whoever. Like they're just, to not have human sacrifice back then was a pretty big deal.
So
and
congrats.
A lot of the nations that these people were, that Israel was taking over and kicking out, a lot of them did do stuff like human sacrifice and things of this nature. So you've got a lot of this idea that like the countries surrounding Israel at the time were not like these like virtuous... we love everyone people. They were like, all right, I think you guys are kind of rude too,
What?
You started the video, right? Recording?
Oh, I thought we were just doing a dry run. Yeah, I started the video.
Oh, okay, I got
Made me fucking self-conscious about it. All right, talk about the next chapter while I did.
Okay, sorry.
Bitch.
Sorry. I just got scared. Sorry. You swear at me? You swear at me? Okay, so all of this, they talk about the crafting, they talk about the bronze basin, about cleansing yourself and things of this nature, the anointing of oil and incense, again, the feeling of the oil on you and the incense of the smell to cover up the bad, this idea of like sin that is being burnt up and being renewed and washed, so you are pure in the eyes of God.
And sneaky little tax. They insert a little tax in here.
For the anointing of oil?
No. The consensus or the census tax. The consensus tax. We all agree we're Jews.
We all agree we're getting tax. I mean, we got to get tax. Obviously, we got to tax.
No, they have a census tax. So they go around, they take a census of everybody in the nation.
Right.
And then they take a shekel, which thankfully they clarify this. A shekel is 20 gerahs. So if you're confused
about what the hell's a shekel, it's
because of inflation and stuff like, it's just 20 gerahs.
It's just 20 gerahs. So
and it's also interesting. It's a flat tax rate, so it doesn't matter how poor you are, how rich you are. 20 gerahs, baby.
20.
1 shekel.
That's right. Ancient Israelites were pro-billionaires.
Well, I don't know. A flat tax rate is interesting. I've been told it's very bad, but it seems like if it's unavoidable, if you just pay this, everyone just pays this, okay, that's better than billionaires are just they can pay other people to get them out of a lot of taxes.
Oh, sure. No,
like if it's just an unavoidable tax rate,
right?
Do that. No fucking exceptions.
Tax rate or tax price?
Rate. What do you mean?
Well, you're saying this is 20 gerahs no matter how rich or poor you are.
No, I'm saying I think tax rate. They're doing tax price. I get what you're saying.
Okay, got it.
I would do it a little differently.
See, that's why I said they're pro-billionaire, because it's the same cost.
That's wrong.
Sure. Oh, right. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's got to be billionaires, because then otherwise, who's got all the money?
Yeah, who's controlling all the
We need
all the
someone
media.
that could lead and control.
Mm-hmm.
Why not these good billionaires?
Yeah, who better to control than the people who have all the power already? They already have all the power.
Might as well use it.
You don't need to give it to them.
Might as well use it.
Exactly. For good.
Thank you. After that, so they've got all of these layouts of what all these things are happening.
Oholiab
and Bezalel. Those are the people that the Lord has chosen to build these structures.
Oholiab and Bezalel. Oholiab. That's where Ohio comes from.
Yeah, Ohio is the first. It's the land of the man who created the tabernacle.
Built the tabernacle.
Sorry, yeah, built the tabernacle. Wait, where's the thing about filling him with the Holy Spirit? Oh,
it's only
geez,
two
I'm not
guys that have
finding
to
it.
make all this shit.
Well, I'm sure they're overseeing it. I bet they're like the GMs.
Oh, okay. So they're
or
not even
general
getting their hand-
GCs, general contractors, probably.
Okay.
They're the ones but they're saying that they're filled with the Spirit to have the skill and the knowledge to be able to do this.
I'm jealous of these guys. Just know exactly what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
you guys do this. That's your job. Once you get that done, chill.
Yeah, or do some more stuff like that. I mean, that's very funny because that ties a lot into the massager still on. That ties very much.
It wasn't on before.
What?
Anyway, continue. I'm about
We're
to give
talking
these
about
people a
yoga
special.
and ghosts, and now this just secretly turns on.
See?
Did you invite spirits into this place?
Who knows?
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's a little.
What are you
That's
doing?
a little on the nose.
Come on, man.
Oh, come on. What? They hurt.
Dude, you want to talk about? Did you bring home the bulletin?
Oh yeah, there was a great song in church today. We'll play it. We'll make a little thing, but
Well-
I don't want to describe it now.
I didn't. Oh shoot! I threw it out. I meant to keep it.
It does feel nice. Look at it jiggle, boys.
Well, at least I know
Or
they'll
girls.
be paying attention to
yeah,
me when I'm
you
talking.
guys are
here.
going to want to make it this far.
Yeah. The point
For
is,
the preview, I'll be like, and then
oh, dude, they're gonna last 3 seconds.
I know, but then
in the
they'll make it
video.
to the preview.
Ah, jeez.
For those who are just listening, all 7 of you, I am. We have quite an audience of feet fanatics, and I am currently doing a. What is this called?
Massage gun,
I'm doing a massage gun on my plantar fascia.
which is on his foot. If you
Which
didn't
is
know
on
what
my
plantar
foot.
fascia is.
Okay, back to
Anyway,
Oholiab.
well, I was saying, you're saying it's nice for them to know what they have to do. This sense of identity.
Yes.
Like, I'm supposed to do that. That ties very well in with the Jamie Winship book that we've both read.
Yeah.
This idea that we are called to be something on this planet. And
It's also like what Calvinists believe,
saying
right?
on this planet is a weird way of saying it, but
Sure. For
we're
now.
called to be something in this life. And, when we know what our identity is, we're called to go forth and live it out.
What if this is what I was called to do? Is just massage my feet for gooners.
I guarantee you most people watching will say that is what you were.
You were meant to do
Most
this.
people will be like, Grant, please.
Yeah, I mean it's great to know what you were meant to do.
Absolutely.
That's
And I
what
don't think that's supposed to be a secret. You know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with being honest with ourselves and being honest with the Lord and saying, God, what do you want me to do? And I think a lot of it is like, what do I want to do? And does it align with the Lord's will? I think we have desires for a reason. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's harder nowadays to find what you're supposed to do than it was back in the day because you have so many more options, or you're shown so many more options of what a person can be? Or do you think that because you're shown so many more options, you are allowed a higher level of precision and specificity?
I think it's maybe both and. I think there's higher levels of distractions now from back then. Mm-hmm. And this idea of like, do whatever you want. And so people are like a little confused. But then also back then, you kind of were like, my dad was a tanner. His dad was a tanner. His dad was a tanner.
I'm going to be a Mark.
Exactly. It's like, I'm going to
They're all named Tanner.
Oh, named Tanner.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, it's a harder thing to go and break out on your own, you know?
Yeah.
So I think back then it's like, I found my identity, but are you actually introspecting, thinking, well, how am I supposed to live my life?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I just falling into, so you got to like strike that balance of do what you're called to do. And I think that's hard because it is hard to like specify now. And we look, I think, in all the wrong mostly the wrong places to know what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Plus, it's very easy to find something because everything feels good in the beginning because you have the excuse of being a novice and you're learning a bunch of new stuff. And so it's easy to jump ship and then follow your like good feelings of like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a fun, exciting new thing.
Yeah, I'm so bad at carpentry, but I'm good at getting drunk.
But
So I'm gonna do that. 'cause I'm good
yeah.
at that. And then it's like, no, don't. I mean, but that's the thing. It gives
also,
you the
like,
easy out.
I'm really good at carpentry, or I'm getting better at carpentry, but it's starting to get hard as the more advanced I get.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, piano's been fun. Piano's been fun because it's like a just playground. There's no pressure I put on myself. That's also what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
I totally agree with you. And it's really hard to have the discipline to keep pushing yourself.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of nice. And, you know, it doesn't give these guys backstory of how they knew. It's just the Lord said, hey, these guys have the skill to do this.
Sure.
Who knows? Maybe they were growing up being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. And then they worked to a place where they had the skill. And the Lord's like, I gave them the skill to do this. And they're like, oh, this is why I pursued this thing, or I did whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, Moses got called back from the wilderness when he was like 80, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, who knows what we're doing right now so that when we're 57 or whatever, we're going to be like, oh, that's why God called me to do X, Y, or Z, is so that I could impact the kingdom in this way.
In 30 years, the internet calls for us to come back and continue to doing the podcast after we
Absolutely.
quit after Leviticus.
And then we go, that's why.
That's why we did this, but get
go,
the gang back together.
They need us.
Oh,
Wow, you sound so old for 60.
I started drinking again.
Exactly. I started drinking for the first time.
Yeah, you started blacking out.
Yeah, exactly. I've never even been close to that.
That's crazy.
That's so, well, it's crazy then.
I did it for a whole month.
A whole month?
Yeah, after my 21st birthday, I blacked out every night for a month almost. So in October, that was October. So then I had to do the next month of Remember November.
Wow. Listen, buddy, I don't know who told you were an alcoholic. They got it all wrong.
I think they got it all
They
wrong.
got it all wrong, man. You just are having fun.
I was 21.
You were 21, of course.
That's what people do when they're 21.
You do when you're 21. When I was 21 on my 21st birthday, similarly, I had the first drink of my life,
Uh-huh.
and it was whatever.
You're such a bitch-ass rule follower.
like
It
it.
disgusts me.
Yeah, I just didn't. I was like, yeah, I don't need a drink. I just didn't need to. So then I had a beer, and I was like, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I liked wine. I did not like beer at first.
Dude, there's like the placebo effect is so strong because I've been having NAs still, but even like
Oh.
0%. The Guinness is 0. And
There's a zero Guinness?
yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you
That's
like
cool.
Guinness, it's really good.
Oh, sweet.
But I had that before a set, and I was like, maybe it's because it was the third set of the night, so I was just calm. But man, it was like I felt looser. I'm like, is this like this is crazy?
Where were you going up?
At that comedy club in Boston, Duck Duck
Oh,
Goose.
sweet.
Really great club, by the way.
Dude.
If you're ever in Boston, go to Duck Duck Goose. Awesome.
Dude, so
awesome.
jealous of all your stage time.
Yeah, well, I think if you stay up at the shop, you're going to be getting more than I am. So,
Maybe.
but anyway, go to the comedy shop too if you're ever in New York City.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, or don't. I don't care.
Please. No, you can come. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That is just like that is when we're talking about God talking to you. That is what I want. I want him to come down, or just from the really clearly be like, Grant, you need to commit to pottery or something.
Something similar. Use your hands.
Yeah.
I like how God always talks slower too. Grant.
Well, he's kind of
use your
condescending.
hands.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Grant.
It's me, your friend.
The Lord.
Anyway,
I had to burp. Sorry.
sorry. Okay, so they do Olihab and Bezalel, and then they mention the Sabbath again. They love the Sabbath.
Rest.
Which
Take your time.
I feel like that is the one thing that all Jews still do is the Sabbath days, not the holidays. Like
Yes, high
even like just people who are like, I'm just culturally Jewish. They still do the.
Well, you
this-
got to do that. If you want to be culturally Jewish, you
Yeah.
got to do like Passover and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know?
But even like atheist Jews, I feel like still get together during
yeah,
those
because
times.
it's cultural, man.
Yeah.
It's a big thing that they do.
So that's an interesting thing that's still.
Sure.
Anything else you want to say about that?
No, we can move right on to the golden calf.
Oh, that is one question I had.
Oh, go ahead.
And it's not really you're going to answer it, but we've been talking
Right, I
about
will.
Israel Palestine lately, and I don't think it's very good for the channel. But I do wonder, I do wonder if every Saturday they have to be like, no more, No more killing for today.
Yeah, that's until Friday sundown.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Get the last missiles up. Oh, okay, we got to stop.
Rocking them,
We gotta
rocking them,
stop.
rocking them.
I mean, that's a big thing. Like in terms of,
We got to let in food today. Damn it.
well, that's also when that's also, I mean, it goes both, wait, does it go both ways? Yeah, like I think they attacked on on some sort of holiday for some sort of Jewish holiday because people were, like, security was down in Israel on October 7th. And
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. And so it's like, because it was like a Jewish holiday, so they knew, like, yeah, they're going to be not paying attention to this. And so
Or they knew
attacked.
that's when they would all be at a big dance party.
Yeah, that too, potentially. And it's the same thing. It's like, I don't think people attack on Ramadan because it's like, that's your holiday. We couldn't attack you on Ramadan.
Sure.
Feels like unfair, which also feels like, but it's war. You should really just attack.
Yeah, but
whenever you
isn't this
want.
all supposed to be higher than war?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not.
practice, but it's supposed to
functionally,
be.
It's not. It's a weird sort of set of rules where it's like, I'm supposed to kill all of you, they're saying to each other. And then they're
Because
like, but I
of
can't
this.
kill you then. I don't want to kill you then. That's your religion. I respect it. It's like, but you don't respect. You're killing each other.
Do you remember hearing that story about World War II where, like, on Christmas night, the Germans and was it Russians or Americans?
I think it was Americans.
And they took the night off and
Yeah,
they
they
played
played
soccer
soccer
and then
or
they went
whatever.
back to killing each other. And they told us that in like 7th grade social studies, and they're supposed to be like, see, isn't that nice? It's like, no, because that means they could have been doing that the whole fucking time.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Christmas. I can't play soccer with you.
I get to go back
Why?
I get to go back to murdering you.
Why?
Like, yeah, no, that's when it should have just ended, when
And
they
to
were all
me-
were like, oh, we don't have to do this.
Anti-Semitism's wrong even on Christmas. If I was the American fighting one of those Germans, if I score a goal,
Well, you would have kept killing.
That's right. I would have gotten up there.
Yeah.
Just killed him anyway, because that's
Yeah.
what should.
You paint a bomb like a soccer ball.
Yeah, they kick it. Ow! That.
Yeah.
It's like Acme. Grant and I have different perspectives. He was thinking they could have been playing soccer the whole time, and my thought was, no, kill them on Christmas.
Right.
That's we're two
Well, you are a
opposite
Christian.
sides. We're two opposite sides.
Yeah. I mean, that all tracks.
Yeah. No, don't stop the killing. Keep the killing going.
Yes. Stay
Yeah.
consistent.
No, it is. Yeah, it is a crazy. That is so nuts.
It's the dumbest like moral ever where
Yeah,
they're like,
isn't this nice?
isn't
I'm like,
this
no,
like-
that's immensely
no,
sad.
that's really bad.
Yeah, that's terribly
That
sad.
they all decided they could stop murdering each other. They did it for one night and then they're like, back to business,
It
baby.
just shows the peons that they, and I don't mean to say negative, but I shouldn't say peon. I should say the pawns that
I'm
they
a
were
peon.
in this larger war, because they're like, well, I as a person want to play soccer with you as a person, but our countries have told us we need to kill each other.
That had to be a heated game though.
So, it was
Getting a
intense. Dude, I
goal in
saw-
that game.
Yeah, come on,
Fuck you,
dude. I got
that's
that.
for killing Harry.
Wasn't there some? Wasn't there some, like, I saw some meme online. It wasn't even a meme. It was like something about like how Israel was playing Palestine in the world in soccer or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's tons of jokes about this
Yeah, and I'm like, is that real or is that,
in the World Cup.
was it the World Cup
I
recently?
don't think does Palestine have a World Cup team?
Not anymore. I mean, they might have at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do anymore. They got a lot of open space to play on, that's for sure. But
yeah, that's
about
why
it.
they're leveling that area
exactly.
so
They're
they can
build
have a
a s-
bigger training
build
center
a new
for Israel.
stadium. Yeah, exactly.
That's like whenever there's like a World Cup or an Olympics inside of like a city, like the city for the next 4 years after they get the contract, that's what Israel's doing.
Right.
This whole thing is just that they have a World Cup contract in 2028.
Right, exactly. They're trying to prepare space for the contract.
Well,
Listen.
that didn't feel good to riff about. The golden calf.
The golden calf.
Let's end on the golden calf.
Right. So basically, God tells Moses. Moses is still up on the mountain with God, getting the tablets given to him, right? God tells Moses, hey, your people down there have turned away from me because you've been gone, and the people were like, hey, where the hell's Moses? I don't see him. Let's create a God that we can see to lead us, you know,
Right.
or a representation. Maybe they might even be thinking this is the representation of the God that we're worshiping,
Yeah.
right? And so
Well, no, I think it's similar to what they were worshiping back in. It's like a reversion to what they were worshiping back in Egypt because it's a golden calf, which is Isis.
right. Oh yeah, which I think was Isis, like life, or what was it?
Isis was the god of fertility.
Fertility, yeah. That's not, yeah. And so Aaron says, all right, give me all your gold and stuff, which, by the way, they've already given a lot of gold for the tabernacle.
Yeah.
And then God was like, all right, cut it off. I only need this. And then Aaron
Sure.
was like, give me more stuff. And then we'll make a calf. We'll make something. It's funny because when he talks to Moses later, he's like, they gave me their gold. And then this calf just came out of the
Oh,
fire.
is that how he
just
says
happened.
it?
Yeah. He's like, and then the calf came out. It's like
So
I think-
guilty.
I think you molded it out of the thing. So, anyways, they give their gold and all that stuff, and then Aaron makes a calf. And Moses, before he even comes down, he's pleading to God, being like, don't kill these people. Because God's like, I'm so upset at them. I should just restart with just you. And Moses is like, no, please don't do that. Remember your promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, Jacob, and, spare these people. And then after he does that, he comes down with Joshua, who was kind of on the in-between. It was like Israel, Joshua up on the mountain, then Moses up at the top of the mountain. Comes down, meets Joshua, goes back down. At first, Joshua was like, sounds like there's war going on down there. There's a huge clamoring. And then they realize it's singing and dancing. And then they see the calf. And then Moses gets pissed and throws his tablets down.
Breaks them. Yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me because at least his reaction, because God told him this is what was happening. And then he sees it and he gets pissed off. It's like, well, you knew this was what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference.
And then also God is like, I'm going to kill him and restart. And then he doesn't restart, but he does have the Levites kill a lot of people.
Yeah, they kill some folks.
So they kill a lot of their own people.
3K. Well, 3K, I mean, I'm not saying 3K is not a lot of people, but also proportionate. There's 600,000 of them. Or maybe, over 1 million.
There's like 1 million.
Yeah, it was like 1 million. 3K. Yeah, we'll drop in the bucket.
Sure, I guess. It just seems like an odd set of reactions. No, don't do it. Don't hurt him. Okay, I'm now mad like you. I'm going to kill him.
Well, also I'm sure they don't just kill random people, right?
Right.
They're not just like they're killing the folks responsible for.
Except for Aaron.
Aaron does seem to be getting away with high treason here.
Yeah.
Although there's still punishment for the people in terms of, if you want to talk about the melting down of the.
Okay, so then Moses, he's pissed off, so he takes the calf, which is funny because it's like when you think of a big group of people worshiping like a golden calf, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's a big golden calf like on Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a trinket. And so he throws it, he breaks it, and he throws it into a fire, melts it down, and then casts it over the water.
I've never thought of it being that small.
I thought of it as when I was reading this, I'm like, oh, this is like a tiny thing.
That's funny.
It's big enough for him to pick up and throw. I thought it was like huge. Yeah, it seems so silly. In my mind, it's like a Monopoly totem.
Gets millions of people worshiping this little thing. You're worshiping this?
I mean, after the Tabernacle, that's probably all the gold they had left was like a couple nuggets.
It sounds like they had a lot left, people left over. But I don't know. That's interesting. I don't exactly know if there was a agreed upon size.
But it's enough for Moses to pick it up and throw it into a fire. So if it's made out of gold and he's 80, it is at its biggest, it's the size of a chair.
Okay, yeah, gold. I mean, throw it into the fire is also, I don't know. I feel like that's maybe more of I don't know if that's a literal, like he chucked it, like if he placed it in the fire.
Okay, gold is heavy.
Gold's heavy. They're throwing gold of any amount.
He's 80 years old.
To chuck anything at 80 is impressive.
Exactly.
I mean, this guy's in good shape.
That's why I'm saying it's a tiny trinket.
Yeah.
And so they worship it. He gets pissed. He kills a lot of them. God has kind of a tantrum here. He goes, I made you guys do this and that, and you slap me in the face and you worship idols. I'm done. I'm just going to start over again.
Yeah.
Kind of a tantrum.
Well, you're acting like they didn't do any of the stuff that they did.
No.
Tantrum makes it feel like it's unjustified. I'm
not saying he doesn't have the right to be mad after it going directly against them, but the kind of reaction of screw this, I'm going home.
And he's done that. He's done that before with Noah.
Yeah, it's a tantrum. He
restarted once,
It's a tantrum.
Again, I don't think tantrum is the right word because tantrum makes it seem unjustified.
I think what does tantrum make it seem unjustified? Like that's just the connotation.
Throwing a tantrum.
I'm saying it's a big
tantrum, a justified tantrum.
A big kind of I'm going home type of Cartman reaction. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
It sounds like it's an overreaction is what you think.
Yeah, I just think it's I guess when I think tantrum, I think of it's like a blow up. It's kind of like I think of like a spoiled kid blowing up.
Right. So to think of God as a spoiled kid, I think is not right, given how much he's done for Israel and how much
Sure.
he's spoiled them. Like if anyone's spoiled, it's the children of Israel.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think to be like, God's throwing a tantrum. It's like, come on, God, what are you doing? It's like, okay, it sounds like
I just hold him to such a high regard that, you know, he should just be like, you know,
well, what does it mean to be held in high regard? That he just
I don't know, man.
anything
I'm
happen?
just kidding.
No, but I think you're speaking to a true thing that you feel about it.
It's
you
just
think
like
it's an overreaction.
It's just like this guy. Sometimes it just feels like you have all this power. Like, you know, why bother? Why mess around with these people making a tiny little calf?
Yeah, I think probably because, you know, I mean it's on a bunch of presuppositions obviously, but just this idea that, like, you know, it matters. Like that's why. Because it's bad for them to worship other gods, like functionally.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, well, that's why I care, is because it's bad for you. Like, I have all this power. I'm the parent of these kids. Why do I care if my kids are acting poorly? Like, who cares? You see absent parents, it's like, well, your kids are horrible now because you didn't care. And it's like, I think caring is a form of love. I think you don't get angry if you don't love. You know what I mean? So I think, like, this is a sign of his care for people and for doing what's right. And I think Moses, obviously he wasn't planning on getting rid of his promise. He was saying, I'm just going to do it without all of them. I'm just going to go through Moses again. And Moses, so he's not saying, I won't uphold my covenant with you. I'm just going to do it a different way through you. And then Moses intercedes and says, no, please don't destroy these people. And he goes,
Okay, yeah, I guess that feels like an overreaction, like destroying the saying I'm going to destroy everybody. Like the flood even seems like an overreaction.
Yeah,
like wiping out everything.
Right, it's an overreaction if it's not justified. And the question is, how do you justify something? And if God is perfect and we are sinful and he has only blessed us with blessings we don't deserve, and then we go against and sin against him, then do we deserve anything? Still, I wouldn't say we deserve it.
But then he's the one who knows our nature. So it's like, why is he surprised?
I don't know if it says he's surprised. It says he's angry, but...
I guess it doesn't say he's surprised. But I guess that's what's confusing about a lot of it is, like, he knows our nature.
Mm-hmm.
He knows we're going to sin. And then when we sin, he punishes us. And it just gets back to... this kind of like, but you made us that way.
Well, okay, I would say he didn't make us that way. He made us in Adam and Eve perfect with free will. And then with free will, we chose to turn against, chose and choose to turn against the Lord. So he didn't make us with the with the incapacity to follow him.
So he made us perfect with free will, and then free will allows us to act outside of perfection.
Yes.
But that does not make us imperfect.
To have the capacity to do imperfect things does not make us imperfect.
Okay.
Because Jesus had free will. Jesus presumably could have sinned, and he did not.
Okay. But Jesus is God. He's not a person.
No, he is a person. That's the mystery of Christ, is he's fully God and fully man.
Okay. So Jesus is a perfect man.
Man God.
Man God. God made man perfect.
In his image.
In his image perfectly. But man can be imperfect, has the capability to be imperfect.
Yes, because of the fall, because of Adam and Eve.
Right. But they can be imperfect.
That's right.
But they were made perfectly.
Adam and Eve were made perfectly, yes.
And then they were imperfect.
Yes, the fall brought humanity into sin. Yes.
But they were made by God who is perfect. That is confusing.
They're not. Well, they chose imperfection through their free will.
Okay, but then they're acting outside of God, which seems like they're acting imperfectly, but they're made perfectly by God.
They're made perfectly, but perfection. I mean, that's the thing. Is like, I think we've talked about this before. But can you love without an option to not love? I'd say no. You need free will in order for there to be love, right? Otherwise, it's not love. You need to choose someone in order for it to be love.
Okay. So you can't have love without imperfection?
No, you can't have love without options. You can't have love without choice.
But human choice always leads to imperfection. So you can't have love without imperfection?
I would say that it didn't always. Adam and Eve didn't have to choose to sin, and they did. And that brought us into a fallen nature, which leads us to sin. However, we can still choose to live according to God's law, as Israel was given that option, right? Like they were given the law, follow the law, and then they would choose not to, which would cause the Lord anger.
Okay. And you can be angry without being surprised.
Sure.
But to have a reaction of killing everybody and starting over, is a big reaction. I'm not saying it doesn't come from a big action, but it's a big reaction.
Sure.
Somewhere in there, it seems like there's surprise. Like, why'd you do this? Like
from
that,
God?
Yeah. Like, why would you do this? How could they do this? But it's like, well, because of the built-in imperfection.
Right. I think that I'm not saying, I mean, I think God's omniscient, right? So God knows what's happening. But also God does show mercy in this instance too. Moses comes before and says, hey, and then there's a lot of debate. Like, did God change his mind here? Was he really going to destroy them? And then Moses changed his mind. Christians would say, no, not really. Some would say yes. Others, I mean, that's not some uncontentious point.
Right. So, but if he changes his mind and the person changing his mind, if he changes his mind, that means he doesn't. How would you change your mind if you know everything that's going to happen?
That's the question. A lot of Christians would say he didn't change his mind.
So he's kind of just vetching.
He's kvetching.
He's kvetching.
Yeah. Some people would say he's blowing off steam.
Okay. Kind of like throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, but again, I would say that he wasn't blowing off steam. I think that he was showing the level, his reaction indicates the level of sin that is occurring, right?
Okay, yeah, but this also is like, if you know everything that's gonna happen and has happened, what is the point of even putting yourself or whatever you are in a situation where you like are communicating with those the people in that experiment or whatever? Like, what is the point of Moses even talking to you if you already know what they're gonna do or not do?
For Moses' benefit, right? It's not for God's benefit. And this is what the pastor talked about, the visiting pastor at my church was talking about today. God doesn't need us. He loves us.
Okay.
So he's not interacting with Moses because he needs to interact with Moses. He's interacting with Moses for the benefit of Moses. And ultimately, if we look to the conclusion of this story, to the present now through Jesus, for the salvation of us from sin. So like this ultimately has a long, and at his own cost, because Jesus, who is God, died. Like, if like there's a lot of his own skin in the game here, you know, this leads to Jesus's death and suffering. So it's like, oh, why is he threatening to ultimately this threaten to like destroy the people of Israel?
That's
they're spared that. And Jesus is the one, God is the one who dies on our behalf. He's the one who takes the suffering for us. So this idea of, oh, God's throwing a tantrum, it's like he stays his hand from the justice that would have been fair and then is the sacrifice and takes the punishment for us.
Okay.
Like you're worried about him destroying all these people, but then he doesn't. And then he destroys himself through his son, Jesus, takes the punishment so that we don't have to.
Okay.
And then saves us from that punishment. So now we don't have to face being separated from God through our sin.
Okay.
Mathematically, does that make sense?
Sure.
Sure. That was the most no sure I've ever heard in my life.
It's first of all, it's a lot of things going on with this kind of underlying. I mean, this is another thing that the traveling pastor or whatever talks about today is
Traveling pastor. He shows up with his bag.
Isn't that what you just call him?
Visiting. I said visiting. Traveling pastor sounds like he's got a carriage and he's got, he opens up the front of his.
Is he from New York? Does he live in New York? It sounded like he lived in.
He's from Alabama, I think.
So he's traveling.
Sure, yeah.
So he probably did bring a bag.
Yeah, but it's like a bag of tricks. Like he's like, I'm a traveling pastor.
Sure. I mean, I don't know how this community works.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. That's true.
Maybe they have like a vaudeville style trunk
right,
that they keep
a top hat and
crucifixes in, and their own
selling
tabernacle.
his wares.
I think one of the things he was talking about, I was spacing out a lot, but one of the things he talked about is like, the mystery and not knowing. You can never know God's intentions. And that's just an aspect of this whole thing you have to accept, and you never will know because, you're not perfect, you're not infinite. And even when you go to wherever you go, you still won't be perfect. You still won't understand. So every day is just discovering more and more. That is the underlying issue with all of this for me, is like, it's hard to make sense of this idea when you don't understand the motivation behind the creation in the first place.
Sure. I think that again, you refuse to look at the New Testament, which would really clear a lot of this up for you.
I'm reading the fucking whole book, dude.
I'm saying, if looking at the New Testament, looking at Jesus, like, what do we know, right? Like, we might not know specific intent behind certain actions.
Sure, but Jews would have this their own answer for what I'm asking right now, probably.
Sure. And I would say that I guess I don't know. I couldn't speak from the Jewish perspective on this, obviously, because I'm not a Jew. But as Christians look at this, we say, what is God's intent here? We look at Jesus, which is God's ultimate intent, which is salvation from sin through Jesus' sacrifice. That is what his ultimate intent is. So there are going to be particular moments of mystery. However, the whole thing is not a mystery. What God is trying to do, save us from sin, is shown clearly through his son, Jesus. And when we take that in, we go, okay, so that's his overarching plan, is to save the world from sin. There are moments of mystery within there, but the whole plan is not a mystery. We're not like saying, is God going to save us or not? I wonder what's going to happen. It's like, no, he is going to save us. That's the promise in the Old Testament. It's fulfilled through Jesus. And our life going forward, which is what was talked about in church today, is to continue that salvific process through the work of the Holy Spirit, through the church, through us, to show Christ's love for us and his desire to save us from sin and suffering. That is like the revealed plan to us.
Okay. By the way, my refusal to read this is not a refusal. It's your lack of patience that I haven't gotten to it on your time.
I was saying refusal tongue in cheek. I was saying yeah, I think when you read the plan of Jesus, it does snap all of this into perspective, which is why it is like, what's going on here? Like, if going through this,
and so Jews would say that the purpose is salvation for the world, but the Messiah that answers that question of what that looks like hasn't come yet.
Well, I don't think Jews necessarily. I couldn't speak to if Jews think it's for the world or just for Israel.
Okay,
because the Jews, as talked about in the New Testament, do think that their Messiah will be a political savior. And Jesus is not a political savior. They're under occupation by Rome, and they're like, you're going to overthrow Rome, right? And Jesus is like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, he doesn't free them from Rome. That's why they're upset at him. They're like, you're saying you're God? We're going to kill you. And then it's funny because then they frame him in the eyes of the Romans saying, look, he's trying to overthrow you guys. And the Romans are like, really? He didn't say he was going to. And then they're like, no, yeah, he said that. You should crucify him. He called himself God. And the Romans are like, so you're upset at him for calling himself God, or that he's going to overthrow us? And they're like, both.
Okay.
But that's all New Testament stuff.
Okay, well.
So there are answers to some of your questions. Again, not all, but some of your questions through later in the book.
Okay. Well, anything else to say about the golden calf?
Bad.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't make a golden calf.
Oh, and then Jesus, he melts the calf, and then he gets
Moses.
Moses melts the calf. Then He throws whatever the dust is left over.
The ash, yeah.
The
whatever.
ash on the water. He makes them drink the water. He then I'm not going to say it. He makes them drink the gold water. He then uses the Levites to kill 3,000 people. And the Lord sent a plague on the people because they made the calf, the one that
I think it's right here.
Aaron made. Is there any big importance on this last thing? It just reiterates why the plague. So you kill him and then the plague. So it's like not only does Moses take control, but God is also showing he is unhappy too.
Yeah, there's an unhappiness.
That's the purpose of that.
There's a justice. Also, because they made the calf, the one that Aaron made, which again goes against this idea that Aaron was like, I put in the gold and this calf came out. And then here it's like the one that Aaron made.
Oh, okay.
It's not this idea that like Aaron was like, I don't know, this just happened. It kind of, this is all, I don't know what happened. It's like, no, Aaron made it.
Okay.
So it is kind of pinning this idea of like, yeah, you did. There's a sense of responsibility here. On you, Aaron, for making this calf, because you were supposed to lead the people in Moses' absence, and you just folded.
Sure.
Immediately.
And his offspring are all the priests too.
Yeah, which they don't do a great job.
They don't do a great job. Well, nobody else stops this.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Joshua's not there, so there is a sense of innocence on him when he's in the middle of the mountain, kind of as an intersect in between the two. He's not there. But yeah, like no one, again, as we keep going forward through this, you just see Israel mess up 1,000 times. Like they so rarely are doing what the Lord has told them to do. It's crazy.
We have to find a way to not say Israel so much.
Oh, well, they're the Israelites.
No, I know. I know. I'm not saying you're
said
wrong for saying it. I'm just saying for the sake of this existing online,
right,
and not being nerfed.
Do you think the algo really hurts us?
Yeah, I think
so. The algo's not run by Jews.
Well, I think that anything that could be potentially negative in what we're saying, if we're saying all this stuff about this Israel and not now Israel.
Oh, I see.
The algorithm doesn't understand that kind of, I'm not saying it understands or it doesn't. I don't know. But I'm just saying with how much we're saying it, considering the current landscape.
Right. We call them the Hebrews. Let's try to call them Hebrews.
Let's try to call them Hebrews.
The Hebrews or the Jews, we could also just say that. Well, maybe
the Hebrews.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Let's pick a third word.
Plus, they're technically not Jews yet because they're not it's not Judaism hasn't come around yet,
Jews.
Right? No, I thought that like Judaism doesn't come around until the split of Judah and the other part.
Oh, Israel, northern lands?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think that's where Judaism comes from.
Oh, I like that.
Because Judah.
Sure.
But
all right,
we've gone over.
A lot over. Sorry.
We hope you've.
They could.
We hope you like the first 2 fucking minutes of this. How about that?
Yeah, geez.
Yeah. We're angry at you now.
Yeah. Duh.
For even spending the gift of spending even a second of your life watching.
We're so grateful.
Really, thank you. All right.
However you choose to spend it.
Whacking off, going from just 1 second. It's all good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Like, subscribe, and
share.
This has been another episode of
Call Him Father. All right, bye.